Hi, I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop.
Still have to mark it. Now my intention is to have this piece underneath. Now these will all be pre-drilled. This line lines up in the center of that oval hole in there. So I'll have it clamped up there. I'll tack it here, tack it there on the outside. Then I'll take the clamp off and weld it 100%. Because the open top of the beam ends about 4 or 5 inches away from where the track will stop, I'm going to set the first. I'm going to have to climb up there and measure the actual distance. I'm going to set the first one back a ways. This will be unsupported, but it's a very short distance, and this stuff is actually very strong. And once again, we're only talking 440 pounds. So I will have one welded on this end, and the other end I can have this piece welded right straight on the end and use it as a clamping point if I want to go on over with another piece, which I would like to do. I have 4 pieces here in the shop. 2 of them go for the sliding wall, but there's another one over in the old tractor shed, hiding out in the pile of junk. And I want to be able to go all the way across the whole shop. That way I can lift something off of that set of workbenches and bring it over to this set of workbenches. Or take something out of the back of the truck and set it on either side. Then once I have that welded on there and all ready to go, I'll set this up against the beam. That's going to leave an inch between the rail, the track, and the rafter. So these go every 2 feet across the length of it. That means I need 10 of them, which I have 11. Then this will be clamped on top of the box beam. The box beam will be sitting like this. This will be on top of the box beam with 2 of these 3/8 bolts. I would have got shorter ones, but they just didn't. I really wanted 4-inch bolts. I thought 4-inch would be more than enough, but I ended up with 6s because they went from 2 to 6. Anyways, this bolt will stick up through, go through a hole in this. This hangs over the top of the beam on top. that beam is 2 inches wide, so that the part sticking out is going to be a lot less than the part sticking out on this one. That's why I'm going with a heavier one on the bottom. I could have put the heavy one on top, but I want to be able to draw these down and actually pinch that rafter fairly tight. And this can be shorter, can be thinner because it's got a shorter distance. Whereas this one's about 5/16 of an inch further away from this smaller beam, this smaller track. So that's the plan behind it. We just keep working at it and working at it, coming up with new ideas. I think this is going to work really well. And I got a big set of these. I cut all this piece of channel up and ended up with 11 pieces of this cross stuff. So in case I have a problem or decide I want to have another one, I can always go down and get some more 2-inch channel down at Alro Steel, and that'll be good. So, time to go in the house now. It's very cold out here because I can't get the darn furnace started. I probably could, but I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time on it. I wanted to be able to get the job done that I was working on. I put in more than 2 hours today. I was out here earlier, had the fire lit, did a little work, figured out how I was going to do the channels and got ready to cut it. Then I came back out and spent about 2 hours after supper starting the fire again and getting these pieces cut. So it's been a profitable day. I think it's going to work a lot better with this design than the one I had before. It was okay before, but like I said, I didn't want to have those the way I originally had it. With this sitting on top of that beam with a bolt coming up through both sides, I was going to end up with a nut and a bolt pinched between the track and the rafter, and that would probably hold just fine. My original setup with a 3/8 carriage bolt coming up through the track and through this hole, then I would bolt it down and then fasten the upper two bolts would come down from above and go through two holes drilled in the side of this thing, very similar to the way I'm going to drill the holes in this one. But with that, like that, and the two holes with bolts coming up through them, that was going to leave a gap where I was going to be teetering on those two bolts. And I didn't like that. It's going to cause dimples in the rafters, and dimples make weak points. So this way, everything's going to have a nice solid thing to sit against. We should be all right. This has been a long, slow process, hasn't it? But we're getting there. I'm having a fine time out here working. I sometimes look like I'm frustrated, and I am. But it's nice when you get it. You know, when you finally come up with a way that you think is an effective, useful way to do things, and you can feel good about how it's going. So that's where I'm at right now. Time to close up shop and go in the house. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching. I do love that little bandsaw. Jim gave me that little bandsaw and it was in pretty rough shape. Hadn't been run. He got it and he just left it sit because he didn't need it. I love a cut-off saw. I started at the foundry, and one of the first things that I did was cut 1/4 inch by 1 inch steel strap to make all kinds of things. And they had a bandsaw about twice this size, but I would put things in it, go about the shop doing my maintenance tasks, rebuilding heating plates and fixing motors and changing out hydromotor seals and just doing regular stuff while that was sawing. That was just great. All I had to do was just start it up and keep on going. I kind of got looks because people thought I was trying to show off that I could do so much better than anybody else, but that's just the way I work. You know, I want to try and get as much done as I can. So, I like the saw, and now I gotta go in the house. Good night.
This video is not to be viewed by anyone under the age of 13 in the U.S. or 16 in the European Union without the express written permission of the parents or the legal guardians of the underage person. Such written permission must be on file at the local government entity in charge of enforcing the rules and regulations established by the FTC. Anyone violating these terms is admitting by default that they hold harmless the owners and operators of this channel. Any and all questions should be addressed to your local branch of the FTC.